Okay, so welcome everyone to a podcast series. And today we are very privileged to have with us YB Dr. Ong Kian Ming to be our special guest. I guess he needs no introduction. He was the former Deputy Minister of International Trade and Industry. Dr. Ong Kian Ming is the MP for Bangi, and he comes from a very rich, what we call a very rich experience background, coming from academic circles and previously being a consultant. So that's why I thought we could invite him to share some of his thoughts and ideas with us, no, and see how we can get them into the mind of this great man and get some ideas and some learnings. So maybe to start, YB, you could tell us a bit about yourself and your journey from how you became from a consultant to a university lecturer and then ultimately ended up as the Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry.
Okay, hi. Thanks, Peter, for inviting me to share some thoughts on your podcast. It's a great honor seeing some of the work that you do. And it's good that you can, not just coach, but also help and really strengthen the capabilities of the people and the businesses that you are, helping. This time is a very challenging time for all of us, and especially for businesses where it's a matter of not just last time, maybe, you were coaching them to how to expand their markets and how to increase their profits. Now it's about survival, right?
Yes.
A lot of them is about survival, right?
Yes.
So, for me, I guess, I've survived through many different things, many different career paths rather. Like you said, I was a former consultant with the Boston Consulting Group. That was after I graduated from the University of Cambridge with a master's in economics. And before that, I was studying economics at the London School of Economics. So I worked as a BCG consultant for a couple of years, and I really valued the experience. I'm still using the experience now. That's why I think when I say I am offering pro bono consultancy services, which I did earlier, a week ago publicly, I think I have some credibility as a former consultant, and learn from my mistakes and probably pass some of those mistakes on as well. Yeah. Yeah. And then after doing consulting for a couple of years, I thought, look, this is not something that I want to do long term. I wanted to go more into research and maybe public service. So I work in a couple of political think tanks doing policy research. And then after that, I got a scholarship, a Fulbright scholarship to do my PhD in political science at Duke University in the United States. So I went there for 6 years, came back with a PhD and a lot of knowledge, head knowledge. And then, got an offer to lecture at the UCSI University, formerly known as Sedaya, right? Sedaya College. Now it's a full-fledged university called UCSI. Learn a lot there, including from the founder, founder of UCSI University, Dr. Peter Ong from Negeri Sembilan, from Tampin, right? So it's an amazing story of how he grew up in a very poor family, then went overseas to study computer science in Canada, and then, now he's the founder of one of the largest private universities in Malaysia.
Wow.
Yeah, you should definitely get him on as a guest as well.
Sure, yes.
Yeah, and then I've always been interested in politics. I've been helping out some of my friends who are in the political circles. Was writing an education blog with my colleague, MP for Damansara, Tony Phua, who also shares common history with me in the sense that he was an ASEAN scholar in Singapore. We studied in Raffles Institution and Raffles Junior College 3 years apart. He was my senior, 3 years apart. I didn't know him then. I only knew him when I came back to Malaysia. So the call came, and then I felt the need to respond, because I think many people from my background, probably including some of your clients and the people that you coach with, would not want to enter full-time politics, right?
Yeah.
Probably including yourself, right, Peter? If I ask you to go into politics, you say, no, not for me, right? Right. So, I thought I had something positive to offer given my diverse background that you hinted at. And I joined the Democratic Action Party in 2012. Was given the opportunity to contest in Serdang in 2013. The name of my constituency changed from Serdang to Bangi in 2018. And then I was re-elected as their MP. So for your information, my constituency is the largest in Malaysia. I have about 190,000 voters, more than Tony Pua. People always think that Tony Pua's constituency is the largest. It's not, I have 20,000 voters more than him. I think he only has he has about 166,000 as of June 2020. I have 187,000 as of June 2020.
Okay.
Right? So by now it's probably more than.
Publicize that.
Yes, it's okay. It's okay. Doesn't really matter that much. But I think the larger publicity I want to make is the fact that my constituency is 190,000 voters now. The smallest constituency in Peninsular Malaysia has about 30,000 voters. One of the constituencies in Perak. Right, yeah. So I have more than 6 times the voters of the number of voters of the smallest constituency in Peninsular Malaysia. Don't talk about Sabah and Sarawak. That one is a different story. Yeah. So yeah, I've been in politics 8 years already. Deputy Minister, as you said, of MITI. Fantastic learning experience. Learn a lot from my job. Learn a lot from my colleagues. I really value the experience. I respect the leadership of the people in my party, especially Mr. Lim Kit Siang and also my Secretary General Lim Guan Eng. So there we are. Short summary.
Excellent, excellent. So maybe we can start with your Boston consulting days, and maybe you could tell us a bit about the famous VCG model, the cash cows and the stars and all that.
Yeah, cash cows, stars, dogs, and the 2x2 matrix, which I think is still important to contextualize. Maybe we need to adjust it in this COVID times, different axes, in terms of survivability and also profitability. It was a fantastic experience. Like I said, 2 years. Worked in cases in KL, in Indonesia, in Singapore, in Hong Kong, across a diverse number of industries, food and beverage, consumer goods, finance. So it was really very, very, very exciting. I had a very interesting time working with colleagues from different industries. Yeah.
What was your, perhaps your best or most favorite project while you were working there?
Okay. There was a project involving food and beverage industry that exposed me to quite interesting markets. It was for a liquor product. This is whiskey and cognac.
Okay.
Yeah. So whiskey and cognac, some of the places where they sell this at a higher price point is some of the nighttime establishments.
Yes.
Right? So as a young person, I've never been in those places before. So it was quite eye-opening to see how these places operate, how they market their products, how these alcoholic beverages were sold in these markets. So I think it was interesting. And the reason why it's still relevant to me here today is that of course, we know that it is an important industry, whether it's the beer manufacturing and distribution industry or some of the liquor products and some of the outlets that are being sold. And of course, this industry is being badly hit by COVID, right? So I'm actually in touch with some of the industry people to see what can be done to help them open up safely and to weather the political storms. And then at the same time, in terms of the importance of this product, right? I don't know whether you know, the prevalence of illicit liquor and cigarettes in the marketplace in Malaysia, right, cost the government 5 billion ringgit a year.
Wow,
is a huge industry. So can you imagine if, let's say, we can cut down on the number of this illicit trade, right? We could get back for the federal government 2.5 billion ringgit, which obviously can be spent very well during these challenging COVID times.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So so I'll give that one example as an important example of how the knowledge of that industry is helping me even now in terms of public policy.
Okay, great. I want to switch gears a bit because mainly the people who are hit hardest are the SMEs. So I want to talk a bit about SMEs and why are SMEs so important and so critical to any economy, and what would be some top line advice you could give to that sector of our economy? So
80-20 rule, 80% of the employment in this country is by SMEs. So we get to hear about a lot of the big boys, in the top 20, the big GLCs, the big MNCs, they're important drivers of the economy. But in terms of employment in this country, it's still the SMEs, whether it's your F&B industry, tourism industry, your retail industry. These are the high employment industries and sectors which generate not just a lot of economic activity, but more importantly, jobs, right? So the SME sector has been really badly hit. There's not many top gloves in the SME sector, right? So across the board, they've been really hit. And I think what I am trying to understand and get a better sense of is the impact on different sectors, whether it's the tourism sector, the hotel sector, the education sector, the retail sector, and not just understand the impact, but more importantly to me, is to find ways in which we can help them survive during these tough times. And then after that, to rebuild the industry better so that when the economy eventually opens up, we can have we can have better companies and stronger companies that can really thrive, not just in Malaysia, but at least in the regional level, to be able to expand the horizon of some of these SMEs, to be able to market their products and services at the ASEAN level. Right. I mean, that was my job, right? As MITI, I think need to take care of industry and need to take care of international trade and also investments.
Yes. Okay, great. Let's also, talking about industries that are affected, one of them obviously is the universities, no? So universities are affected because, we used to have foreign students. Now nobody can travel, so you lose one source of revenue.
Yeah.
We used to have enrollments when people finish the SPM and STP, A levels, whatever. Now that's also topsy-turvy. So they're definitely affected, no? So coming from your academic background, having worked in a university before, what are some opportunities that maybe you could suggest to people in that industry?
Yeah. Okay. I'll suggest a couple, and I'll add on to what we discussed before we started this podcast. I think one opportunity for universities as well as the government is to use this time to be able to improve or enhance the overall image of the sector, right? Why is this important? If we want to market our universities to foreign students, we must make sure that the Malaysian brand name is strong. We must make sure that the Malaysian education system is one that produces good quality education for the students, right? And one area that I've been involved in during this time, and actually ever since I became an MP, was to advocate for strong Malaysian qualifications agency qualifications and standards for especially the private universities, right? So I'm not sure whether you know, but I was involved in an issue lately, advocating for foreign students that were studying in a particular private university, more than 800 of them that were enrolled in courses that were not recognized by MQA.
Oh.
Right. So if you don't know which university, the founder of the university recently passed away. Right. So I don't want to say anymore. I think your listeners would know. Right. So when you have this kind of situation, right, it really gives a bad name to universities in Malaysia. Right. And this is one area where, policymakers, the Ministry of Higher Education, the DG of Higher Education, the CEO of MQA, all of whom I'm in touch with, right? We can work together, with the Association of Private Colleges and Universities, MAKPU in Malaysia, to try to address this issue. So that's one. That's at the more systemic level. But at the more localized level, what can we do? What can universities do? Firstly, enhance their own SOPs so that they can be quarantine centers for foreign students who come to Malaysia or come back to Malaysia to start their courses or start their education programs, right? And this is important because number one, they can reduce the cost for these foreign students to come back. Instead of staying at a hotel that maybe charges you 150 ringgit, you can stay at your university hostel that maybe charges you half of that. Right, you are able to also recoup some of the lost cash flow by the universities during this time, right? But you need to make sure that your SOPs are enhanced and of a very good quality, right? Then the other thing that universities can do, right, is we talked about this earlier, is that you have many students and also many teachers or lecturers who are well versed in areas that are valuable to the market right now. Yes. For example, digital marketing, right? So youngsters are very good in that digital marketing stuff, you know. But probably they are not so good in terms of the overall structure of how to, market themselves, market their services to the private sector. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, university
Also,
lecturers
probably
can
they
use
need
that
some
time.
guidance in terms of overall strategy for your digital marketing.
Yeah, so like the lecturers, maybe they can come to you lah, right? Peter, to give them some sort of framework in terms of how they want to market and structure their services lah,
Yes, yes.
right? And this may be a good way for them to reach out to and help different SMEs, and also at the same time give a good on-hands experience to their students, you know, to be able to use this time to say that I helped out this particular industry, this particular company through the COVID times, and this will be relevant for them when they go and look for jobs later on, right? At the same time, it may be relevant for them if, let's say, they want to start their own businesses later on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's one. Maybe the last one I would say is, it will be a good time for universities to put together a package or some sort of a course, to help businesses and individuals to get through this COVID period, right? So, you have different departments in the university, right? Education, IT, engineering, architecture, business, commerce, right? And all of these lecturers have their own expertise, right? Why not get together and put together a course, called Surviving and Thriving Through COVID Times, right? And then you can offer, for example, the architecture department can offer their insights as how to refurbish your property so that they can be more COVID compliant, right? Air circulation needs to be better. You need to have access to outside air, right? This is what the ministries are recommending, and this could also be an important SOP compliant area, right? Yeah. And then for your IT, you can talk about how you want to enhance your IT system so that you can do digital marketing better, right? Integrate your company's Facebook, Twitter, other social media platforms, right? So that they can be more in line and also integrated with one another, right? Yeah, so that whatever you do, whatever marketing that you do via email is same as what you do through your social media, through Twitter or through nowadays TikTok also have, through Facebook, things like that lah. Yeah, and I also really recommend for university lecturers to increase their profile through LinkedIn, right? I think Peter, you'd agree that LinkedIn is a very powerful tool, much more powerful than Facebook even. Right, that's how we got linked up, right? Through LinkedIn.
Yes.
So if you can actually use your university lecturers to ask them to enhance their own LinkedIn profiles, then that can be used as a marketing tool for universities as well to market their potential research and consultancy services.
Yeah. So you've given us several good ideas, no? And I think other industries can tap into that as well. A lot of companies are still, not using social media enough, not using LinkedIn enough, especially those who are in B2B businesses, no? They really should be on the LinkedIn platform, that's for sure. Okay. The other
actually on the B2B part, I think one of the challenges, and this one, Peter, you also, have an important role to play. Right now, we are speaking in English, reaching out to mostly English-speaking people, right? You are from PJ, so I'm also from PJ, so we're probably more comfortable in that environment. Right, if you can actually connect with people who are, Chinese speaking, they will be able to reach out to the Chinese speaking crowd much more and to be able to communicate in their own language. I give you an example. There's this accounting firm called YYC. Have you heard of them before?
Yes, they used to be my clients. So I want to talk now about a more broad-based industry like F&B, because with the lockdown and all that, they are really affected. The retail scene, the food and beverage scene, So maybe you could give us some ideas and some thoughts on, what these guys in the because their cash flow is definitely, if you're not open shop, how are you going to get any money?
Correct.
Your expenses are still there, So what insights can you give us for that?
Yeah, good question. So I give you one smaller example and then one bigger example.
Okay.
Right. So the smaller example is a restaurant that I frequent in Bukit Jalil called Jesse Countryside Cafe. Right. They serve excellent shepherd pies. You can check out their Facebook site. Jessie Countryside Cafe. But their challenge is that they are not very good in digital marketing. They're not very good in using technology and using different sorts of social media outreach, right? So what I did for them was that I taught her how to use the owner, this husband and wife team. The wife does most of the marketing stuff. I taught her how to use Facebook to do the Facebook promotions, right? FB promo. Pay a little bit, advertise to the circle in Bukit Jalil. I also taught her alerted her to this site called Canva, Canva.com. You can do Facebook posters very easily. A lot of my staff use that as well. And then use that to again come up with posters to do daily advertising for your different specials and products. And then I also offered some services to one of my friends designed a poster for her to produce into leaflets so that she can distribute physically in the area around her. And then this one I haven't done yet, but what actually F&B companies can do, right, is that they can create a WhatsApp account, right, and then include different numbers in there. You can actually procure these numbers over different private lists out there. Use the legal ones. Don't use the illegal ones. Yeah, and then you can actually use these numbers to get WhatsApp your daily specials to the people around that area.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, I mean these are quite simple
times, especially just before meal times. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So this is for the small one. For the bigger ones, I mentioned before that this is not really only F&B, but it's the hotel and the tourism sector. There's a golf and hotel resort in my area called Bangi Golf Resort. And of course, their business has been severely impacted. So what I've done is to help them convert their resort into a vaccination center. And it's been approved verbally already. The process moved very quickly. We got the approvals and the paperwork done. So hopefully by early July, maybe 5th of July, they will be converted into a vaccination center. And then some of their operation costs, salary, operation costs in terms of electricity and whatnot, they can actually charge it at an affordable rate to the federal government under the PIC program, the National Immunization Program. So this can also help them through these tough times.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, for the F&B outlets, it's very geographical because nobody's going to drive like 10 and you can't now anyway. So the geographic use of social media to reach those who are maybe 3-kilometer radius or something, that is a very good, very focused approach.
Yeah, and maybe for some of the bigger ones, the chains and whatnot, you can offer you buy vouchers, buy vouchers now, and then a voucher can be of a certain amount. We cannot deliver everything to you now. Maybe we deliver some to you. Later on, you can redeem the vouchers when we open up again, right? And then go and come and eat at our outlets, and so that can help you with some of the cash flow as well.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to be optimistic for a while, and I guess at some point this crisis we're going to get through this. I don't know how long.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we're going to get through this. I'm also very optimistic.
Yeah. So maybe it could be 3 months, 6 months. It could be it could be sporadic. We get recovery, then a new mutation comes along. We got to tackle that one.
I think the word to use is endemic. The virus is going to be endemic, which means that it's going to be in the air, so to speak, for some time. But it's just going to be like any other flu, probably more publicity. We're going to get jabs for them, and new flu jabs, for example, every year. That's part and parcel of the landscape. But I think your question is how to rebuild the companies back better, is it, when they open up?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I give one example among the this outdoor event companies that I'm talking to, and I actually see this as an opportunity for us to market Malaysia as a safe and interesting destination for people who want to do outdoor activities to come to Malaysia. And this would be this would be national as well as regional tourism, right? So for example, why not convert some of our resorts on a weekend into leisure activity centers and also sporting event centers, whereby we can create a sort of like a bubble for these kinds of activities to take place. So for example, if let's say you like triathlon, swimming, running, cycling, right? We convert a part of Langkawi with a number of resorts into a safe travel bubble, right? You can come from Taiwan, you can come from Singapore, you can come from Hong Kong, go straight to the airport in KLIA. Don't come out of the airport, but you fly straight to Langkawi. You show that you've been vaccinated, right? From Langkawi, we take you straight to the bubble in some resorts there. And then during the weekend, you can do triathlon, you can do swim, run, bike, that kind of stuff. And then you can, do yoga, you can eat there, blah, 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 right? And then that sort of like becomes part and parcel of your marketing activity, that is not just, it's something that can give us an advantage over some of our neighbors if we are fast enough to do this.
Yes, yes. In fact, talking about that, I just had in mind, one of my friends runs the Haven Resort in Ipoh,
yeah, very nice place.
That's a very exclusive, it's enclave, like you say, a bubble, So that's a bubble in itself. And a fantastic food, fantastic setting, and a lot of things you can do. And all in the outdoors, Fantastic. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, so you can let him know. And if he wants to contact some of these outdoor event organizers, you can also, put him in touch with me. Yeah,
sure,
no problem.
Okay, great. All right. So before I let you go, YB, any last thoughts and words of advice or encouragement to the business community?
Okay, so I think obviously you provide a lot of value to your clients in coaching and also advice. If they need sort of like advice or insights into how the government operates, right? The different regulations, the different ministries, a lot of red tape that they have to go through and whatnot. I can't promise, I can't make any concrete promises, but I can help them, guide them through the processes of trying to do certain things. There are some areas that I won't go into. For example, don't come and look for me if you want me to go and find out how you can apply for more foreign workers, right? That one is a black box that I don't really want to involve myself in, although we need policy changes and that make it more transparent, right? But other things, for example, how you want to apply, make your application for the wage subsidy program faster and clearer, right? How you want to convert your shop lots that you want to rent out to workers, especially foreign workers, and make that, get your certificate of fitness, right? So all these kind of more technical and regulatory things, because of my experience in government, I think I can offer you at least some guidance into who you should look for and what are the things that you should do. So please email me at im.ok.man@gmail.com. That's my email. And then you can follow me on Twitter as well, IMOKMAN. And of course, through LinkedIn, as I said earlier, Ong Kian Ming. And I'll be glad to follow up with you and to see how we can collaborate together to build Malaysia back better. Okay,
fantastic, YB. So thanks so much for your contribution, not only in this podcast, but more essentially to the whole nation. And look forward to catching up with you sometime.
Okay, yeah, we'll meet after the MCO ends. Thanks, Peter. All the best. Take care.
Okay, bye.